The research station Erebus floated in the silent void, deep in a sector of space where no trade ships came and no colonies existed. Out here, the stars looked cold and sharp, like they were watching. It was the perfect place to hide something dangerous. Dr. Elias Vance stood in the central lab, staring at the giant containment sphere that filled most of the chamber. Inside it shimmered a wall of blue energy, the only thing standing between humanity and the most destructive object in the universe. A black hole, not a distant one. It's not an image on a telescope. It's a real caged singularity swirling inside there. Machine like a dark wound in space. The old warnings echoed in his mind. Black holes are not tools. They are predators, cannot be tamed. The words had been spoken by alien scientists, centuries older than human civilization itself. They refused to share their own experiments, claiming the cost was too high. But humanity had never been good at listening to no. Around Elias, his crew prepared for the first real test of the project. Engineers moved between consoles, typing commands. Energy readings flashed across large screens. Dr. Kira Home, the project's lead physicist, stood beside him, arms crossed. She had always been the cautious one. "You know, this is madness," she muttered. "We don't know what will happen if we poke it." Elias gave a faint smile, though his eyes stayed on the swirling black mass. "Every great leap begins with a little madness." She shook her head. "This isn't a leap. This is lighting a match inside a fuel depot and hoping for fireworks." But it was too late for arguments. The funding was spent. The equipment was built. The moment had come. The containment sphere hummed as power fed into it from the massive generators in the station's core. The walls shook slightly, a vibration so deep it felt inside the bones. A ring of graviton stabilizers lit up one by one, each locking down. The black hole's position in space, stabilization holding, called out Chief Engineer Raj Patel from his console. Hawking radiation levels nominal, vent horizon intact. On the main screen, the black hole was just a dark circle, surrounded by a glowing halo. Should have been nothing more than a perfect void. But as Elias watched, he felt something strange, like it wasn't just there. Like it was aware. "Begin." "Data injection," Elias ordered. The technicians started the sequence. From deep inside the sphere, pulses of controlled energy shot into the singularity. The idea was simple: if they could feed a black hole precise bursts of energy and mass, they might be able to control its gravitational output. In theory, this could lead to faster-than-light slingshot drives, unlimited energy, even planetary defense weapons. In theory, the sphere pulsed with light as the injections continued. The readings on the monitors shifted. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then it happened. The glow around the black hole dimmed just slightly. Its shape wavered. The sensors began reporting something no one could explain: a signal. It wasn't static. It wasn't random noise. It was patterned. "What the hell is that?" Kira asked, leaning over a console. Her face had gone pale. Patel tapped furiously. At his controls, "It's coming from the singularity." "Radio spectrum? No." "Wait," he looked up sharply. "It's in multiple frequencies at once. It's like it's trying every channel it can." Elias's voice was low, trying to talk. No one answered. The hum of the machinery seemed louder now, almost like a whisper. The black hole's edge began to shimmer in ways no gravity field should. The surrounding space bent not just light, but color, time, and sound. Several crew members pressed their hands to their ears, wincing. Then the signal changed. It wasn't just noise anymore. It was rhythm. 3 short pulses, 3 long, 3 short.
Us,
Kira breathed. "That's impossible," Patel said, his voice shaking. "How can a black hole send a distress signal?" Elias stepped closer to the glass of the containment sphere. His reflection warped in its surface. For a heartbeat, he thought he saw another face in the glass, something deep inside the darkness, watching him back. And then the thought hit him. What if it wasn't a natural black hole at all? Before he could speak, alarms blared. The readings spiked. The gravitational pull inside the containment sphere doubled, then tripled. Metal beams groaned. Lights flickered. "Containment field at 70%, Patel shouted. "It's pulling back against the stabilizers. Kira slammed a fist on the emergency shutdown. We need to stop now. But the sphere didn't power down. The generators roared louder and the black hole pulsed, not like a star, not like a machine, like a heartbeat. Ilias's mouth went dry. He understood now. The signal wasn't random. It wasn't even a distress call. It was a reply. The black hole had heard them, and it had answered. The crew froze as one final reading appeared on the monitor clear. Undeniable and horrifying. Source origin, unknown. Estimated age, older than the universe. Elias felt the temperature in the room drop. He looked at Kira, whose eyes were wide with fear. Whatever they had captured inside that sphere, it wasn't just a force of nature. It was alive. The signal from the command deck of Erebus Station was silent. No one moved. The sound from the speakers was faint like a whisper. It wasn't random static. It had rhythm. Almost like breathing. Dr. Elias Vance stood frozen, staring at the waveform on the screen. "Run it again," he ordered. The technician, a young woman named Harper, swallowed hard. "Sir, it's repeating every 31 seconds. Exactly." On the observation platform, Commander Rin, the only alien on the team, shifted uneasily. His long, insect-like arms twitched as his compound eyes locked on Vance. "Black holes do not send signals," he said sharply. "This is wrong. Shut it down." Vance didn't answer. He was too busy listening. The whispering sound almost felt like it was saying something. The research crew had always been split. Half of them believed the experiment was dangerous. The other half, led by Vance, saw it as the most important discovery in history. They weren't just studying a black hole. They were trying to control its event horizon to create a stable gateway for travel. If they succeeded, humanity could cross galaxies in days. But this sound, this was not part of the plan. "Could it be an echo?" Harper asked. "Commander." Rin's voice grew louder. "No echo, no natural source. You have poked the sleeping predator, humans. It is answering you." Vance rubbed his temples. "It's impossible for anything to come out of a black hole. Information can't escape." "The event horizon." "Then explain this," Rin hissed, pointing at the screen. The signal pattern changed. Suddenly 3 short pulses, 1 long. It repeated again and again. It was a message. The rest of the crew gathered around, eyes wide. "Is it trying to communicate?" Harper whispered. "Dr. Malik, the station's." Physicist frowned. "Maybe it's some kind of distortion from our own transmission." Vance shook his head. "We didn't send anything in that pattern." Then the room's lights flickered. Just for a second. But everyone felt it. The air pressure shifted, as if something had pulled at the walls of reality. Commander Rin stepped back from the console. "You have made a mistake. This is not science. This is summoning." The next hours passed in tense silence. They ran scans. The black hole's mass readings were stable, but the space around it wasn't. Gravity fluctuations rippled like waves, bending light in strange patterns. "It's getting bigger." "That's impossible," Malik said, checking the data. "We haven't added mass to it." But the numbers didn't lie. The event horizon had expanded by 3% in just 1 hour. Vance leaned forward, his voice low. "It's feeding." Commander Rin's voice was like steel. "Black holes feed on matter. This one is feeding on attention." "Number S." One laughed. That night, Vance sat alone in the control room. The station was quiet. Everyone else was either sleeping or pretending to. The signal from the black hole still pulsed through the speakers. He turned up the volume. It was no longer just a whisper. There were tones now, beneath them almost too faint to hear words. He closed his eyes, straining to listen. The voice from the black hole said something in perfect English. "We see you." The hair on Vance's neck stood on end. Outside the viewport, the black hole shimmered. And for just a moment, Vance swore he saw something looking back. The next morning, Erebus Station was not the same. Metal walls groaned like an old ship at sea. Lights flickered in random patterns. Doors that were locked last night stood open without anyone entering them. It's the hum of the station's generators. now carried a strange low vibration, almost like a heartbeat. Dr. Elias Vance walked the empty corridors, his boots echoing. He had barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard the voice again. "We see you." When he reached the command deck, Harper was already there, pale and shaking. "You need to hear this," she said, pulling him toward the console. The signal from the black hole had changed again. It wasn't just rhythm or breathing, it was language, slow, measured, and not human. The computer tried to translate, but the output was unsettling. "We remember the ones before you. They fed us, then we fed on them." Vance froze. "On them?" he whispered. Before Harper could respond, Commander Wren stormed into the room, his alien voice sharp. "I told you to end this." His mandibles clicked in anger. "You are speaking with a thing that should not be able to speak. This is not communication." His bait. Vance turned toward him. "Think it's trying to lure us?" "I don't think," Wren said. "I know." Just then, the station shook softly at first, then harder. The crew grabbed onto rails and consoles as the artificial gravity flickered. Outside the viewport, the black hole's edge shimmered. Like rippling water, something was moving inside it. Not debris, not light, shapes. They were impossible to describe, like shadows bending in ways shadows shouldn't. Dr. Malik rushed in, shouting over the alarms. The event horizon just expanded again. 6% this time. Vance stared at the readings. "That's faster than before."
S.
"It's feeding," Malik said grimly.
S.
"But it's not eating matter. It's eating energy. Ours." Commander Wren hissed. "It is pulling your world closer, piece by piece. It will not stop until there is nothing left but darkness." The shaking grew worse. Panels sparked. The crew's voices turned into a mix of fear and chaos. Suddenly, as it started, everything went still. The signal cut out. The screens went black. In the silence, the main viewing window darkened not from power failure, but from something blocking the light of distant stars. A massive, translucent tendril emerged from the black hole. It didn't move like normal matter. It moved like liquid shadow. It brushed against the invisible barrier of the containment field, then pushed. The field groaned. Lights flickered. And then, "Open the way," the voice said, through every speaker, every screen, even through the floor beneath. Their feet. Vance's hands trembled over the controls. "If we cut power to the containment field, it will get out." Wren's compound eyes locked on him. "If you keep the field up, it will keep pushing until the station breaks first." Harper whispered, "We're trapped between letting it in or being crushed." No one said it out loud, but they all knew this was no longer about science. It was about survival. And survival might already be impossible. For the black hole whispers the station was quiet. Too quiet. No alarms. No shaking. Just the cold of machines. But to Dr. Elias Vance, the silence was worse than the chaos. Because now, the voice was inside his head. "Elias, you want to understand. Let us show you." He gripped the console to steady himself, but the whisper was too clear, like someone was standing right next to him. When he looked around, Harper was staring at him, eyes wide. "You hear it too?" she asked in a shaky voice. "Yes," he admitted. Since the tremor stopped, she swallowed. "It's calling me by name." Across the deck, Commander Wren slammed a claw against the wall. "That is how it begins. First it speaks. Then it shows you visions." And then he stopped, looking away. "Then you open the door for it." Vance tried to ignore the voice. But it was getting stronger, more tempting. Promised knowledge, power, and a view beyond the edges of the universe. And then it showed him something. For a split second, his mind was somewhere else, hovering above a vast, lightless ocean. In the distance, he saw shapes rising from it. Not ships, not animals, but things older than galaxies. They moved slowly, like continents drifting. Anyway, every time they shifted, stars in the distance blinked out. "Forever?" Vance gasped and clutched his head. Harper caught his arm, but she looked pale, too like she had just seen the same thing. Malik stumbled into the room, his voice uneven. We have a problem. Engineering says the containment field isn't holding." It's thinning. How long? Vance asked. Moloch's eyes darted to the floor. An hour, maybe less. Before anyone could respond, the lights dimmed again, this time not from a power drain, but from something darker. The shadows in the corners of the room began to move on their own, stretching toward the crew like reaching fingers. "We can save you," the voice whispered, "but you must let us in." Commander Rin stepped back, pulling a plasma sidearm from his belt. "Stay away from the dark," he barked. "Do not listen." But Harper was already walking toward the viewing window, eyes unfocused. "Harper!" Vance shouted. She didn't stop. "It's beautiful," she murmured. "They just want to show us the truth." Outside, the tendril of liquid shadow was pressed tighter against the barrier, pulsing in rhythm with the voice. The control screens flickered to life again, displaying strange symbols no one recognized except Harper. She reached for the panel, fingers hovering above the release code. Rin lunged toward her, but the shadows on the floor surged up like water, wrapping around his legs. He fell, snarling in pain. Vance's heart pounded. If Harper entered that code, the containment field would drop. "Let us show you forever," the voice whispered to him alone. And for a moment, he almost wanted to say yes. The crew gathered in the command deck, their faces pale under the flickering lights. Harper sat apart from the rest, hands folded, eyes down. She didn't look like herself anymore. Her pupils were too wide. Her skin looked almost gray. "Malik," whispered to Dr. Vance, "we need to restrain her." But before Vance could reply, Harper lifted her head. She smiled.
The warm smile she once had.
But something cold, like the reflection of a dead star. "It's already too late," the voice whispered in Vance's mind. The containment field's energy readings flashed red across the monitors. 45 minutes until failure," Malik announced, voice shaking. Rin snarled, "Then we eject the experiment. Now." But Harper laughed softly. "Eject it? You think you can throw away a piece of the universe? It's not inside the station." She tilted her head. "The station is inside it." Everyone froze. "What did you just say?" Vance asked carefully. "It's been swallowing us for hours," Harper replied. "We're already halfway gone." Before anyone could react, she tapped something on her wrist console. Alarms screamed through the station. Bulkhead doors began to seal, trapping crew members in separate sections. Vance slammed his fist on the console. "Harper, what have you done?" She stood, her movements unnaturally smooth. "I opened the way. They'll be here soon. You'll see the truth." Rin drew his plasma sidearm, but Harper moved faster than any human should. She disarmed him in one motion, tossing the weapon into the shadows. Malik tried to grab her, but the lights cut out, and in the darkness, she was gone. When the emergency lights flickered back, a new alert was flashing on every screen. Containment lock override, field disengaging the black. Hole outside was no longer a tiny, distant sphere. It had grown, filling half the viewing window, but worse. Shapes were coming out of it. They weren't ships, weren't meteors. Well, the station shook as the first creature emerged. It didn't walk or fly, it folded into existence. Like the fabric of space was peeling open for it. Long, twisting limbs dragged behind it, and its body shimmered with impossible colors. Every crew member froze, their instincts screaming to run, though there was nowhere to go. Dr. Vance stared, mind racing. This is what was calling to us. This is what Harper served. Moloch's voice trembled. "If those things get free in real space, they won't stop," Rin finished grimly. "They'll keep coming until everything is theirs." The over the come, Harper's voice echoed, soft, almost kind. "You don't understand. They're not enemies. They're the beginning. The old universe is dying. They're here to replace it." "By killing us?" Malik shouted. A pause. Then Harper whispered, "By absorbing," and Vance made his decision. He turned to Malik and Rin. "If we overload the containment generator, we might collapse the black hole's throat before they fully emerge. But it will take the station and us with it." Malik stared. "That's suicide." "It's worse if we don't," Rin growled. The creatures were inside the hangar, now tearing through bulkheads without touching them, simply erasing them from reality. The sound was like nothing Vance had heard before, like the tearing of a star. They reached the core. The generator was shaking violently, its hum a low, hungry growl. Vance began typing in the override sequence, fingers trembling.
House 30
Seconds, he said. A shadow fell over them, one of the creatures, its many eyes reflecting them like broken mirrors. Harper stood behind it, her expression calm. "You could have seen the truth," she said softly. Vance met her gaze. "I've seen enough." He slammed the final key. The generator screamed, the walls warped, and light exploded through the corridors. The black hole convulsed in the viewport, then collapsed inward, pulling the station and everything in it into a final blinding point. In the quiet that followed, deep in the cold of space, nothing remained. But somewhere, the heart of another universe, a small human voice whispered, "We are not finished."